Hey guys, it's 9 a.m. at FirstBuild. You know what that means. Time to start day drinking. So with the Thanksgiving holiday now just behind us, we've had an opportunity here at FirstBuild to witness all of the mouth-watering, wonderful meals that you've prepared for your family for the holiday season. Today, I'd like to take a break from talking about smoked foods and turn our attention to how we can use the indoor smoker to elevate our beverage game. So before we get to the fun part, there's a few warnings I want to provide to everybody to make sure you stay safe. First and foremost, alcohol and heat do not combine well. So please, please, please do not place liquor inside of your indoor smoker. And as always, drink responsibly, always drink in moderation, and always, always have a designated driver. So if you're anything like me, you like to experiment in the kitchen. I like to experiment with making cocktails and figuring out how to pair those with delicious food. One of the things I've learned is that wood smoke can actually introduce some depth and complexity to drinks that you wouldn't otherwise have. Now, adding smoke flavor to drinks is not a new thing. It's something that bartenders have been doing for quite a long time. The most common way to do it is to actually just take ingredients that already are known for having smoke flavors, such as mezcal or perhaps a heavily peated scotch like this one. I've also been experimenting with things like smoked teas as a base for my cocktails. And then there are other tools that can be used. For example, I actually own this piece of uniquely shaped wood, and then you actually just take your butane torch here and you literally burn the wood and overturn a glass on it to collect the smoke in the glass. The problem with all of these techniques is that they tend to introduce a film on your cocktails. That film can either be on the rim of the glass, it might actually end up in the drink itself, and that film kind of contains a lot of solid smoke particles that can be really bitter and acrid. So those are sort of the downsides of introducing smoke directly to your finished cocktail. So today I'm going to start off by not actually making a cocktail quite yet. I want to start off by showing you how to make something called smoked ice. And it is literally as it sounds. It is a piece of ice that has been smoked in your indoor smoker. I find it's a really interesting technique because you can impart smoke into your ice and then place that into your drink. That way you're not directly smoking your cocktail, your finished drink, but actually allowing that ice to gradually melt and impart smoke flavors over time. So how do we create smoked ice? Well, the most obvious thing would be to just take liquid water, put it in your indoor smoker and smoke it before placing it into your freezer in a mold. I'm actually going to turn that on its head and tell you that you should smoke the ice, not the water itself, but the ice. You see, if we had put liquid water in the smoker, that liquid's just going to stay stagnant. And so the smoke is just going to float right over it and have very little interaction with the water. By actually putting the ice in the smoker, the ice is going to gradually melt over time inside the smoker. And so there's always going to be a fresh layer of ice water on the outside of the ice ball here, and the smoke is going to have a lot more interaction with the water and impart more flavor. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fire up our indoor smoker. For this smoked ice, I like to use these settings. I like to set the smoker temperature to its lowest limit here at 170. And then I'm just actually going to set the cook time for 2 hours. It probably is not going to take that long. The amount of time it takes to smoke your ice is going to depend on how much ice you are actually putting inside the smoker. So preparing the ice is super simple. Just take the ice cubes, place them in a smoker-friendly container like this glass bowl. Just be sure that the amount of ice that you have is all going to fit into the bowl once it's melted. I've made that mistake before where I put too much ice in here and it started overflowing after it melted. So just be careful of that. Pop this ice in here. I like to stick it on the rack close to the smoke port. All right, so here we have our smoked ice water. What you can then do is take the water and place it into your favorite ice mold, such as this one. These are the ones that we use with the Forge Ice Press. For expediency and through the magic of YouTube, I've actually prepared a batch already. All right, so we have our smoked ice. Now what are we gonna do with it? Well, today I'm planning to make one of the most classic cocktails, which is an old fashioned. Here at FirstBuild, we're located in Kentucky, so we obviously have to use our native spirit, bourbon. The other important thing about an old fashioned is that it's considered a built cocktail. What does that mean? Well, what that means is the cocktail is constructed directly in the glass that you're going to consume it from. The other important thing is that it's usually always served with a nice, beautiful piece of ice in there to help dilute it. Old fashions start off kind of boozy and strong. As the ice melts, it's going to gradually dilute your drink so that you can consume it at whatever strength you like. So I'm not just going to take this block of ice and drop it in the glass. I want to make it beautiful. So I'm actually going to drop it in here in the Forge Ice Press. This is a beautiful product. I use it all the time at home. We actually have a few of these left over in our inventory that we're looking to offload. So if you want to buy one, there's a link below. All right, so as you can see, the Forge has melted this ice ball down into a perfect, beautiful sphere. Just gonna plop that into our favorite rocks glass and let that sit for a minute. Let's go ahead and start making the drink. So to start off, we're gonna take our jigger here and measure out 2 ounces of bourbon. Go ahead and pour that directly in the glass. All right, next we're gonna take 2 or 3 dashes of Angostura bitters, 1 ounce of simple syrup. Some people like to use a sugar cube in their old fashions. They'll put it in the glass and muddle it with a muddling stick. I'm not a big fan of that because it tends to just leave granules of sugar in the bottom of your drink and you get kind of a sugary sludge. So I like to use simple syrup. It's really easy to make. You just mix 1-to-1 by weight sugar and water and let that melt and dissolve in a saucepan. We'll take our bar spoon here, give that a nice gentle mix. And then as a finishing touch, I like to take a little bit of orange peel and I like to express that over the beverage. The other thing I like to do is take that orange peel and kind of just rub it around the rim of the glass. That helps kind of give it a little bit of aroma. And then if you just want to impress your friends, you can add a little bit of orange garnish. There you go. That is a old fashioned with smoked ice. Nothing like a 10 a.m. bender. All right, so how about something a little more seasonal for the holidays? So next, we're going to be making a hot smoked buttered rum. Very similar technique as the smoked ice. We're gonna smoke the ingredients here. So we'll start off with 2 cups of water, and then half a stick of butter. Piece of paper off. Just place that right in the water and then put it in the smoker. Probably gonna take about an hour or 2, depending on how much of a batch you wanna make. But I'm just gonna set the smoker for about an hour. It's just butter and water. It's not the most appealing thing when we first pull it out, but I'm gonna grab a whisk and try to really kind of incorporate that smoked butter into the water and give this a good mix. Oh no. That's not bad. I think it's the chunks that are kind of, it's like caramel. It's like buttered popcorn or. All right, so to make our smoked buttered rum, I'm gonna go ahead and pour 2 ounces of dark rum into a warm mug here. And then I'm gonna take about 1.5 ounces of this smoked butter. You know, it's not the most appealing thing served in a mug like this. You could probably double the portions if you really wanted to fill up your mug. But we are gonna top it off with a little bit of spice just to give it kind of that final touch. I'm gonna add a little bit of nutmeg just on top. Normally I like to take my microplaner and actually use nutmeg itself, kind of grate it by my hand. But today all I got is this canned spice. I'm just gonna kind of give it a little dash to finish it off. Kind of get into the season, we'll add just to be truthful, I've actually never made this one before. It was kind of an experiment. The butter mixture kind of looks more like chicken broth. Obviously it's just melted butter and water, so what was I expecting? But I have had buttered rum before, but this one, I think the smoke just kind of takes away from that kind of buttery goodness that you would normally expect from this drink. And again, my serving method here isn't great. Probably could improve on that, but I'm gonna give it a taste. It's not bad, it's buttery, it's boozy, but I think it needs a little bit of a tweak before I perfect this. So I think to improve it, I would probably use a darker, more spiced rum and maybe some kind of sweetening element. Not bad, not great. I'll take it. All right, so the last thing I want to make today is a Blackberry Bramble Sour. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off with about 100 grams of blackberries here. These have been washed and rinsed already. I dump those into a glass bowl like this one. And then I have about 50 grams of brown sugar. I'm just going to dump that right over top. Kind of give that a good toss. And then I'm just going to kind of moisten it with a little bit of water to get things kind of moving a little bit. But again, this whole thing is going to go right in the indoor smoker. All right, so now that we have our blackberry syrup, we're gonna go ahead and make our Blackberry Bramble Sour. So I have my mixing glass here with some ice. Once again, I'm gonna take 2 ounces of bourbon, measure it with my jigger, pour that in. And then I am going to take 1 ounce of this syrup. And then for the sour part, we're gonna squeeze this lemon and get about 1 ounce of lemon juice from it. Take our bar spoon, give that a nice gentle stir. And then for this drink, I like to serve it up in a nice coupe glass. Take my strainer here. And then just for a little bit of garnish, you can take some sprig of rosemary. I like to smack it to try to release some of the oils and aromas. Just gonna stick that right there. It's not super smoky, but...
No, but I like the tartness.
It's weird, like, from the blackberries and the citric acid from the lemon. So it's like a whiskey sour,
yeah,
but with blackberry. Yeah.
Really good.
All right, guys, so I hope that you've enjoyed some of my favorite smoked cocktail techniques and recipes. I really am partial to this smoked old fashioned. So hopefully these cocktails kind of get you through the holidays. And as always, drink responsibly and drink in moderation. Thanks, guys. Happy holidays.